What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, then welcome, and if you're familiar with my content, then welcome to the new world, Inner Alchemy. I decided to go with a rebrand, and I'll explain why later. I just had an insane throat chakra opening, so I'm going to be drinking a lot during this video. And if you're not familiar with my content, I smoke cloves a lot of the time to stay grounded. Sometimes the energy is just too wild in my head, so it's been up there now for a few weeks, and I need to bring it down, so we're going to smoke a clove to bring it down. Anyway, I wanted to talk in this video just about, I'm going to be sharing what I'm going to be talking about on this channel, and why I'm qualified to talk about it. And basically I'm going to be talking about frequency, vibration, EMF sensitivity, how to heal it, because I healed it in myself. But I know a lot more about EMF sensitivity than a lot of people out there. Because I was a human EMF meter, I did not need a meter to know what was going on and where and when. And I'm going to be sharing about how I healed myself physically with energy and frequency. And I'll be sharing, my experiences with which frequencies were actually detrimental to my health, and a lot of experimentation with what works and what doesn't. But the biggest thing is going to be manifesting and raising your vibration, and also telekinesis. Now, they're very much related, because the thing is, you get a lot of people talking about manifestation, and they don't actually know what they're doing to manifest. And there's an analogy that I can use that kind of emphasizes the point. There was a famous golfer who hired a copywriter to write a sales letter for him, and he needed to describe what this guy was doing. And he was like telling him, what he did to get this amazing result with his swing. And so the copywriter started watching videos of this guy golfing, and he was like, "You're not actually doing what you told me you're doing to get the results." And he was like, "What? Yes, I am." The golfer didn't know how he was getting his results. He thought he knew. He said, "Oh, I do this, this, and this," but the video of him doing it actually told a different story. Same is true with manifesting. Most people, they mistakenly think that certain things they're doing are responsible for their manifestation, and it's just not the case. And that's why there's so much of a discrepancy between like what systems work for certain people and what what doesn't. People say it's not consistent, and it's because what matters is the energy in your body. It's not a matter of you sending signals out to the universe and the universe responding in like kind or whatever. It's not about that at all. You can technically say it is, but you can send signals all day, and if you never get the energy into your brain, if you never get your energy flowing this way, it's never going to happen. Because I'll tell you the secret to manifestation right now. The secret is, normally a person's energy flows downward like this. You have to reverse that flow to get it to go upward, but you have to do it with force. You don't have to be forceful, but the energy has to be forceful, and it has to flow freely. And then when it gets up here, whatever you picture, whatever you think about, that's what's going to be outpictured into your world. Now, you only have to do it once. That's the thing. You only have to do it once. You only have to think about something once. But when the energy is in that state, when the energy is flowing upward, anything you think, anything you picture, anything you put emotional energy into, not because of the emotion, but because emotion and excitement, just as much as anger and hatred, flows the energy faster. You can manifest in a fit of rage. You don't have to be positive. That's a myth. The universe doesn't care how you feel. It's not your feelings that matter. It's the intensity behind the feelings that matter, because it's the intensity that reverses the flow of energy and makes it flow to your brain. It's excitement. Whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't matter. Of course, when you are positive, you'll manifest positive things because you'll be thinking about positive things. And, but anyway, that's the secret to manifesting. And, I happen to be somebody who has been aware of my energy for probably as long as I've been alive. I think it got trained out of me as a kid. it is for all of us, right? Like, we have so much power when we're kids, and then it just gets like smacked out of us by the adults who, think they know better for us, and, they want us to get a good education so we can go get a job, all that jazz. Well, I'm going to be sharing a lot about manifestation on this channel, and because I've done a lot of things and I haven't shared them with a lot of people. And I don't share them because people kind of get upset when you share like real stories of manifesting. Like, some people, they'll say, oh, I was sitting on the porch and I was thinking about a bird, and then I saw a bird fly by. That was a great manifestation. And it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe, but that's not really, like, if that's what people are like striving to achieve, looking out into the world, thinking about a bird and then seeing a bird fly by, like, you're just getting started. I mean, there are so many ways you can use manifestation to better your life. Like, not to just, randomly have these like weird experiences, or, I mean, even beautiful experiences, I mean, I love birds, so I'm not knocking the birds, but I'm just using it as an example of something extremely simple that may not even be a manifestation, because it's like you're looking into the sky, there are already birds there, seeing one fly by is not really like manifesting, right? But these are the kinds of stories people share, and they're like, yeah, I'm a manifestation expert, I'm a manifestation coach, because blah, 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 blah. Well, my question to all these people is, if you truly know how manifesting works, you should be able to turn water into wine. I can do that. I've done it many, many times. It's actually simple. You can do pretty much anything. Manifesting out of thin air, that's easy too. I've done that. Only once, but I've done it. I've never tried any other time. But, sorry, my speaker just died, and I don't want the buzzing sound to ruin the video. So anyway, I've already had to record this video 5 times because I keep having technical difficulties. I'm not going to record it again. Yeah, so I just kicked the speaker back in the house. Anyway, so manifesting, manifesting is so easy. I mean, I could tell stories for days, and I have stories for days. I'm probably going to share a different story with every video, just because I walk my talk. So, I wrote a couple down. Let's see, what's the funniest one? Okay. Oh, my cat showed up. All right, I got a funny manifestation story for you. I'm gonna have my clove here. All right, so I was living in Hollywood. It had to have been 2010, and I didn't drive. The friend I was living with, she was the one who had the car. But we didn't have parking spaces where we lived. We had to park on the street. And if you've ever even driven in Hollywood, you know that that's a nightmare. So it was really hot outside. It was really sunny. We left our apartment and we were walking up the hill. We had to probably go about 4 or 5 blocks to get to her car. It was like all the way at the top of a huge hill. And I get across the street, I get through about like maybe 2 blocks, and I realize, oh my gosh, I forgot my sunglasses. And I'm like, I can't believe I forgot my sunglasses. Next thing I know, I turn my head just slightly to the right, and I walk right into a tree branch, and the tree branch like smacks me in the face, and there's a pair of sunglasses hanging in the tree. I still have those sunglasses to this day. They were just literally hanging in the tree, and I ran right into them. And I thought, okay, that's cool. Of course I made the connection, right? And I was like, I made a stupid joke, and I was like, hey, look, sunglasses really do grow on trees. And my friend laughed. And so we went out, we did our thing. And then a few hours later, we went to dinner with her husband. And I was joking about how sunglasses grow on trees. And we're standing in line to get into this restaurant to be seated. And there was like a little shelf that was like separating the booths from our line or whatever. And on the shelf was, I think, 3 or 4 trees, and all the trees had sunglasses stuck in the trees. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. Okay. So, I mean, that's just like a little story, but the manifestation was pretty darn instant, and it actually filled the need that I needed, because I needed sunglasses, right? And see, I've got thousands of these stories, like literally thousands. Like, this has been going on since I was about 17 years old, and I'm 43, so it's a long time. Let's see, I was 17 in 1998, so I've been doing this since 1998. And so anyway, like the point of seeing these manifestations is really to know that you're taken care of, that you don't have to work hard to survive. It's kind of like when you're thrown into this world, you're programmed to believe you have to do something to survive. You have to be somebody other than who you are. Otherwise, you're not valid. I mean, you can't just sit on the couch, right? Like, that makes you worthless, right? No, it doesn't. But that's what society says. You have to, be somebody. Go get a degree. Go to college. Get some kind of prestigious degree that shows that you're able to memorize a bunch of facts and spit it out on command. I mean, yay for you, right? Then you can earn $100,000 a year. None of that is true, but that's what you're programmed to believe. And so, like, then, when you don't feel taken care of, the universe isn't taking care of you because you're fighting against the current. You're trying to make life happen for you when it's already happening for you. If you would just, like, let go, you would be totally taken care of. Money, food, clothes, shelter, everything would just come to you if you stopped fighting. It's the resistance that prevents life from taking care of you. But when you manifest things like I did with the sunglasses, over time, you start to see that, like, wow, maybe the universe really does have my back. Maybe I actually don't need to do much of anything. Maybe manifesting is more about eliminating what's in the way than trying to force your will onto the universe. Because in the end, you can say, oh, I want a bunch of money. You can either try to force it to happen, or you can allow it to happen. And that's what people mean when they talk about the art of allowing. It really is that simple. If you follow the teachings of Abraham Hicks, that's all there is to it. Literally. And, you get all these other complicated processes that all these processes, the end result is only that they train you to raise your energy. That's it. Any process that works for you is going to be a process that raises your energy. End of story, period. That's it. That's all there is to it. Problem is, most of these processes don't help people raise their energy because they're not excited about it. Some people get excited about creating a vision board. I was never one of those people. I did it, but it was like annoying. I didn't like it. Like, I don't want to sit here and like look at things all day. I wasn't getting excited about it, so it never worked for me. But when I learned how to move the energy through my body, that was easier for me than creating a vision board or like, closing my eyes and visualizing something, which I've done before. I mean, I've manifested plenty of things just by closing my eyes and visualizing for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Houses, cars, jobs, money, whatever, lots of crazy things. But it all boils down to energy. And so on this channel, I'm going to be talking a lot about how to raise your energy. I'm going to make it simple because it's not actually complicated. But there are pitfalls along the way that you can get trapped in, and there are contraindications. Because once you can't separate the awakening process and raising your frequency from energy work and manifesting and telekinesis and all that stuff. It all goes together, because once your energy field starts spinning fast enough, your energy will start moving upward and it'll start pouring out. And automatically it will start clearing your traumas. And when your traumas start clearing, once each of your energy centers, basically like there's a seal over each one, and once that seal is broken, all hell will break loose in your life according to that seal's properties, that chakra properties, the properties of that particular chakra. And it can be absolute hell. And if you don't know how to transmute things, that's the key. You can go through the hell. I did for a couple chakras, until I learned how to transmute the energy. And then it was like, oh, okay, this is easier. But nobody teaches you that because people think it's separate, you know? Like when you're doing telekinesis, your energy field is spinning really fast, and that's where your power is derived from. That's why it's effortless, because your energy field is doing all the work. Because you're just thinking about something and it's happening. And that's really how it works. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of experiences. I've been involved in cults. I've been involved in Masonic organization, a Masonic organization. I've tried every system and process on the planet. I've read every book you can imagine. I've studied every author. I've studied every teacher. And it all boils down to none of these things work unless you can get your energy moving. Once you get your energy moving, you don't need teachers. You don't need books. You don't need instructions. You don't need anything. Once you learn how to identify when the energy is moving in your body and when it's flowing upward and when it's in your brain, then, and you figure out what makes that happen for you, that is all you need. And that's what I'm going to be sharing on this channel. It actually gives you a lot of control, more control than you can even imagine. Most people, they focus on manifesting, you know, like a job, cars, money, whatever. But if you, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But you can live your life one of two ways. The first way is where you're constantly trying to manifest every little thing in your life that you need. That's exhausting. Very exhausting. If you get your energy system flowing freely, things just happen for you. You don't really have to put in any effort. To give you one example, I am 43, like I said, and I have never paid for a single car in my entire life. Every time I need a car, somebody gives me one. And usually they don't even know I need a car. Twice in 2 different states, people who don't even know each other, you know, decades apart. I had a neighbor. He was just like, oh, I'm going to move out of state, so I'm just going to give you my car. Twice that happened. And it's just like, you know, life just takes care of you when you have your energy flowing, you know. But when it's not flowing and when you're resisting, when you're in resistance, you're blocking the flow, which is the natural state. And that's what we're programmed to do from birth. We're programmed to be resistant to life. And it's awful. I finally feel myself coming down. Whew. Let me tell you, like, you can run energy through your body without burning out, but if you do not clear your energy centers before you do that, you will burn out all the time. It's like a short circuit in your body. But you know, when it's flowing up like this for an extended period of time, it's great. But then it's really nice to come back down. Really, really nice. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'll share another example. So just to demonstrate that, like, yes, I am very qualified to talk about manifesting. I'm not just going to share, like, you know, meaningless, like, little tiny stories. I mean, I'm going to share a lot of those too, but I've been able to manifest pretty big things. Let's see, which one should I share? I don't want to spoil too many, but okay, one of the most okay, here's a fun one. Okay, so I was working at Starbucks, and it was about to be the 4th of July. And I thought it would be kind of cool to put fireworks on top of a Frappuccino to make a fireworks Frappuccino. And I thought it was brilliant, right? I didn't know if the Pop Rocks would pop or whatever, but I wanted to try it. So I went to the drugstore that was in the same parking lot. They had like a 36-foot long section of candy on 2 aisles, so 72 feet of candy, and they did not have a single Pop Rock of any kind. So I go home, and my roommate walks in the door, and she says, "Hey, I have something for you," and she throws a bag of Pop Rocks at me. I'm like, okay, thank you. The thing is, she had never given me anything that was not normal for her, and she knows that I don't eat candy. I don't do sugar. So that was interesting. I'm like, okay, so I got my Pop Rocks, right? And so that night I thought, oh, it'd be really cool, like if I could make like a Pop Rocks chocolate bar. That would be so cool. And so I'm looking online, and I find a bar from a company. I'm gonna butcher the name. It was called like Chow or something, Chuao, whatever. And so I realized they had like a spicy fireworks chocolate bar with Pop Rocks in it. Not Pop Rocks brand, but the same deal, right? I'm like, whoa, that's cool, but it was $8. I'm like, I don't want to pay $8 for a chocolate bar. I'll just make it myself. Later I'll go buy my chocolate and make my own Pop Rocks bar. So I go into work the next day, and I was a shift supervisor, so I had to count all the milk in the morning. I open the fridge, and it's filled top to bottom with boxes. And that only happens when we have a setup, which means, those cute little displays that you see when you walk into a Starbucks. You're given that like at least probably 2 to 3 weeks in advance. And the shipment comes in, and then like you set it all up and whatever. Well, we already had our 4th of July setup, so I was like, what the heck is all this? So I'm sifting through the boxes, pulling them out, and it was boxes of that chocolate bar that I had just found the night before that I wanted, that I didn't want to pay $8 for, and there it was. And we were allowed to do like free samples of everything, so I got to try my chocolate bar. My manager came in, and I was like, "What is this?" And she's like, "I don't know." And so she looked on the computer, and she's like, "Oh, they changed the setup," and so we had to like change the setup, but nobody knew about it. Like it just happened overnight, right? So that's just one example. I've got other stories. I'm gonna pull out a whole bunch, and like I said, I'm gonna share at least one story with every video that I make about manifesting. To show that like I didn't just have some luck, manifesting a few things here and there. It's like it's been consistent. I mean, I'll give you another story. There was one time I was either 17 or 18. And there was a specific piece of clothing that my girlfriend had at the time. And I was always borrowing it. Like I wore it all the time, to the point where she was like, I need it back. And we didn't even live in the same city. So it was like, when I had it for like months at a time, because we would trade, going back and forth to visit each other. Anyway, I walked into one of those little weird boutique thrift stores, and I'm flipping through the clothes, and I find the exact piece of clothing, same brand, same size, exactly. And it wasn't something popular at the time. It was like a random find. Like I didn't even know what the brand was. And oh, my battery's dying. Let me see if I can charge this here. Okay, got my charger on. So yeah, I got that, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then it happened with everything else that I ever wanted. I'd go into a thrift store looking for Jenko jeans because I collected them and I wore them. It's one of my favorite brands, one of the only pants that I have ever worn since the 90s, and I will not stop wearing them. And I'd go into the thrift store, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna find a really cool pair of Jenkos today, right? I'd go over to the rack, and there would either be like a really cool pair just like right there. One time I walked in, I put my hand on top of the rack because it was full, and I pushed because I wanted to separate it so I could start sifting through everything, and a really rare pair of Jenkos just fell to the ground in a bigger size, which if you collect them, it's harder to find the bigger sizes. These were like a 42, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So, but like nonstop. So the reason I was able to do all that was literally just because I was excited about it. If you've ever seen any of Bashar's content, he says Follow your highest excitement. That's it. That's all there is to it. When you follow your highest excitement, that's when you can manifest, because that's when your energy is flowing properly. That's really all there is to it. But how do you get there? That's the question, right? So that's what I'm going to help people do on this channel, and so much more. I'm feeling really grounded now. This is good. For the first time in almost 3 weeks, I finally feel like I'm back inside my body. And I'm going to be talking about that a lot too, because I feel like there are more people out there who are having these experiences now, and they don't really know what's going on. I've seen a lot of people start a major Kundalini awakening recently in like the last 5 years, and they have no idea what's going on. So hopefully my content will be able to help some people, know that like you're not going crazy. You're not going crazy. It's totally normal. And anyway, so yeah, that's all I got for today. So that's kind of like a brief introduction. I mean, I guess a little bit about me. I live in the woods. You can see it's forest. I desperately need to do some yard work, but yeah, I live in the forest, and it's great. There's nature all around, and that's pretty much it. I live in the woods with my dogs and my cat, and I drink coffee all day. That's pretty much it. I mean, I do other things too. I write, I do marketing and stuff like that, but that's whatever. Okay, anyway, that's all I got for today. So yeah, thank you for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one.